welcome to the third episode of Business Chronicles. I am Pallavi Agnihotri.
I am Sebastien, and today we have the immense pleasure of welcoming Me Neelkanth DULLOO, Barrister and Board Member at the Gambling Regulatory Authority for an in-depth interview.
Followed by important tax deadlines for the month of May 2025, presented by Sishana Sanichar.
Welcome, Me DULLOO, to the third episode of Business Chronicles.
Thank you for the invitation.
Me DULLOO, you wear many hats as a barrister and a member of the Executive Committee of the Gambling Regulatory Authority. Can you walk us through your journey into the legal profession and how this has led to your current role in the regulatory sphere?
I did my law degree and I read for a master's degree, and I did my bar vocational examination and postgraduate diploma in law, and was called to the bar at the Honorable Society of the Middle Temple in UK. And I had the occasion also to work in various law firms in UK, and where I had the opportunity of international exposure. And I was mainly working under the guidance of the United Nations in relation to refugee convention in countries where there were war. For example, Yugoslavia, and then I took on board the war in Rwanda when there was the fight between the Hutus and the Tutsi, and then moved to the war in Sri Lanka between the Tamils and the Sinhalese. And then after the completion of my degree, unfortunately, it was not easy to secure tenancy as barrister in United Kingdom, because at the time when we were applying for tenancy, there was an issue in relation to pupillage in United Kingdom, and then the family asked to return back to Mauritius, and I returned back. And I did my pupillage with Mr. Madan DULLOO, former Attorney General, and with Mr. Ramabaladen, former Attorney General, and Senior Attorney, Mr. J. Kargazador. And then soon after being called to the bar at Supreme Court of Mauritius, I started getting involved in several high-profile cases, including Michaela Hout, including late Lampotang, Amical, and I was also a contestant of the new biometric identity card in relation to storage of personal data, together with late Mahadao, and there was also the former Prime Minister who was part of the challenge. And then very recently, I've been the barrister for Mr. Bunyoloret, for Viman Sarapati, for Wakil Bisisar, and several high-profile cases. And since 2015, I've been involved heavily in political campaign supporting the Labour Party. And we've been supporting Labour Party since 2000, and then went to United Kingdom for studies and then returned back, supporting Labour Party again. And then 2 years back, I was called by the Prime Minister to become an executive member of the Labour Party. And I was supposed to run for the last election, 2024. And then when there was the broad alliance between Labour Party, MMM, Nouveau Démocrate and Résistance, and then with great pleasure, I was asked to hand over my ticket to the leader of Résistance Alternative, who replaced me in constituency number 4. And we continued our policy making, and then on the 14th of January, I was appointed by the Prime Minister as a board member of the GRA, Gambling Regulatory Authority, and I'm currently the board member, and I'm also chairing several subcommittees at the GRA. And let me tell you, since my appointment at the GRA on the 14th of January, and yesterday, I have counted it, we already had 34 meetings within that short period of time, and that gave an indication how quickly and how far we intend to go in relation to making GRA become a global status a world-recognized regulatory authority. I can only talk about vision and policies. Unfortunately, I'm not mandated by the board to tell you what's going on in the business, same as every other authority, because we are bound by secrecy. But if ever you have questions on GRA, it will be policy making. But we are allowed to talk about the authority itself, provided we have the authorization of the board and to explain. And I think we have the chief executive officer who is laborious in relation to setting up procedures, ethics committees, and become a partner in relation to the new horse racing industry. But I can tell you very soon there will be a new legislation at the GRA, and also there will be a setting up of the horse racing integrity division. So it's going to be clean, proper, efficient, and I'm very hopeful that next year, 2026, people will commend all the actions of the GRA.
Maitre DULLOO, speaking of the GRA, what are the key challenges that they are facing, particularly with the evolution of online and digital gambling platforms?
Well, what we have experienced is there are so many unregulated activities ongoing in the betting sector. I'm sure you will note that during the last years, there were several online platforms performing and organizing bets. And then a government policy came, whether it was political or non-political, but it so happened that we wanted to concentrate inland business. And whatever other platforms were offering, we've tried to get, they have tried to get local boys, local actors to do the same thing. But then what we have noticed is the proliferation of illegal bookmaking. And according to my own personal analysis, is like the MRA and the GRA, we are controlling at least 20% of the betting activities. The 80%, according to not an official analysis or status, is in relation to what we can see, is 80% of the betting sector is unregulated, in the sense that we have illegal bookmaking, and we call it clandestine. So what we have noticed is, well, most probably there are so many official bookies who are suffering from those illegal activities, and those illegal activities often penetrate the system, in the sense that there are collusion at all levels. So I have carefully listened to the speech of the Prime Minister in the National Assembly in relation to Pretno, in relation to how to move forward, in relation to reestablishing the economy of Mauritius. We like it or we don't like it, gambling forms parts of the culture of Mauritius. Some people look at it religiously, some people look at it taboo, but it's our experience in Mauritius in horse racing industry, which we should not neglect. And I can assure you that all my friends at the GRA, we are gearing towards making not double our capacity, but we want to make 10 times the budget we are currently obtaining, in the sense that we obtain money from the government and then we return the money to the government in terms of profit and in terms of fees that we get from this industry. And the figures are official. We are currently generating $500 million a year for the government, but I think with proper structures, proper policy, proper vision, we can do 10 times. Because regulating the horse racing industry should not also be on national level, should be on international level. We are happy to have the MTC on board for organizing the races, and hopefully we should extend our market on the African area, and also why not European or Asian, by selling rights. This will come There is a high-level powered committee sitting on the horse racing industry. We have also our board sitting on that, and we are currently recruiting specialists and analysts, our local boys, very performing guys. And I hope so, with the help of a well-structured organization and people from abroad who are going to form part of the GI, will surely contribute immensely towards the treasury of the country.
Maître, following the Privy Council's reversal of both the ARC and the Supreme Court decisions in the case of Galia, what impact do you think this might have on the future approach of the Ministry of Finance or the MRA?
I think we have to, following that very good judgment, because we have seen the contrast between objectivity and subjectivity. And I think that we have to have a technical team, both at the Ministry of Finance, at the Treasury also, and also at the MRA, and legal minds as well forming part of it, because we have to adopt a liberal approach. Unfortunately, to say that our regulators in terms of financial services are a little bit lenient to go on liberal approach. We have always been conservative. We are a conservative culture basis. We are not adopting how quickly things are evolving. We continue to say our society is not ready for that, our society is not ready for this, what people will think. But our society is ready for everything because we are doing everything that mankind does. It's only about feeling ashamed of doing things. So a good judgment in the sense that we have to be liberal, we have to be subjective, we have to set out guidelines. There are many people who want to do things but fear of being taxable. They're always scared to do it, or they run away from tax procedures because they have this opinion that government is here to take their money. And unfortunately, I would say government runs on taxes. I would have been happy to see all ministries concerned be part of a public-private partnership where, I take for example in terms of agriculture, we have problems in agriculture. And Galia is a case where it involves farming, involves land, and involves profit analysis, loss analysis. How can we make it profitable? And you can see the authorities for that, well, this is someone having fun with his style of doing business, not interested in making money. But in fact, when we read, there is happy for him to be here to provide what he's providing. But there is a tax burden on him, which I'm very thankful to the legal team and to the appellate himself for having gone so far up to the Privy Council. Not everybody would have been able to do that. But a technical team have to be set up in relation to calculating now whether, following this judgment, you will have so many people who will abuse that position. We cannot continue the objective approach. We'll have to have proper staff to make analysis in relation to taxpayers, to live with them, to accompany them in their financial journey, not just sit at the desk of an office and then, well, I don't think he's doing that. I don't think this is proper. No, you have to live with that person. People are passionate about business. People, yes, they have tax liabilities, but they simply don't care. Some don't care about tax liabilities because they are so passionate, they are so in love with their business, and they need to be accompanied in that. So we need to have a liberal approach, a liberal structure. We cannot keep on pushing, taxing people, and then if you're not happy, you go to ARC, and ARC, I've seen that they have not relied on any case law whatsoever to come to conclusions which they have reached. But how have they reached that conclusion? Based on what? Based on, well, there are no other coexisting circumstances that I can only find this way? No, they are coexisting. So We need to have tax inspectors. We need to have assessment being done like we have at banks. We have a relationship manager. They know their problems. So tax also should not be someone like a bulldog coming in front of your house and you're scared to open the door. Because we are contributors. We are contributing for the running of the country. We pay you. You should not force us. You should not scare us. Let's develop an approach where we as taxpayers, we are so happy to come to you when we are making loss in our ledger. Please help us what to do. And when we are making profit, just don't take our money and spend left, right, center and being subjected to audit criticism. So I think a culture needs to be changed completely. Very good judgment, very good analysis. We need a subjective approach across the board.
And Matt, what implications do you think the Privy Council judgment in the Galia case could have on the agricultural sector, particularly for entities engaged in non-traditional farming activities that may not always be profitable?
I invite the Ministry of Finance and the Minister of Finance and the Ministry of Agriculture and the Minister of Agriculture to set up a committee in relation to that, because it is laughable when you see people importing potatoes, onions, garlic, ginger, carrots, and even some salads, and you get them mostly in supermarket, high class, being imported from France or from Egypt. And when we have land and the ministry is calling for help in relation to administer those lands which have been abandoned. So I think now in relation to losses which have been made in agricultural sector, this is a very good opportunity to gear new strategies. I think it's too late for this current budget to do that. I believe that current budget which is coming is going to be adjustments of tax liabilities, government accounts, and social grant. I don't know, I've heard that social grants will be eliminated. So I will ask the technical team of the Ministry of Finance to be very, very careful on that, because some people, the contribution of the state in terms of security, social security is very important at the moment. We have seen an increase in repo rate, which people are not happy, but they stayed quiet because they know that they have to help. There have been an increase there, and I would have hoped a decrease in that activity of repo rating, because people are already suffering in terms of consumables. It's unbelievable at supermarket. The prices are unbelievable. I don't know what the Consumer Protection will do, the Minister of Commerce will do. I would be very happy to see another committee set up to analyze the marginal profits of big supermarkets, because you have to calculate something on the analysis of the importators import. They are the one who make the importation. They are the one, most of them, they are the one who go and take it out from the customs. They are the one who transport it. They are the ones who display it. They are the ones who sell it. And they are the own ones who is collecting money. So many hats. It's like a Dalton team. So if we are not going to stop you from doing it. I think if you have the expertise, you should do it. Why not? We are a small country. We are having an aging population. And very soon, in 10 or 15 years, 20 years' time, we will have to depend heavily on foreigners to work as expats in Mauritius. There's no way out. Birth rate is low, and many people, young professionals, are leaving the country for better shores. And the only solution will be to make things work. We'll have to have honest and credible expats coming to work for us. But then, those companies doing that, they should not be allowed to have a marginal profit of more than, I believe, 1/3, 30%. Because you can't have consumables being sold at 500 rupees and then there's a sale, it being sold at 160 rupees, and then you ask yourself, but how much you paid for that? What is the marginal profit in normal situations? It's so big. And who pays for that? It's us, consumers. So whenever there's a problem, I've noticed something, and I've warned about it in the beginning of the year. I said the disastrous situation of the CEB should not be a liability for taxpayers. But if you go everywhere, you will see that the bills at the CEB has increased. Everywhere they are on the increase, and I've inquired, and I want inquiry to be done on this. I've met some engineers, and they told me because the power supply is being geared towards certain area, a certain period of time, and then if you have an apparatus who's supposed to be powered by this amount of energy, is not supplying that amount of energy to perform, that apparatus is asking for more energy to perform, like air conditioning system. They should be at a certain level of power. But then you will see that even you put your aircon during the evening, you have to put the ventilators as well, because you feel that sometimes you are still in a sauna. So bringing down the level of power, and then your apparatus need more power. We have to pull more energy towards the source, and it gets increased on the bill. This is what have been told to me, and I think this makes sense. This is why we are on the increase on several bills. I hope to be denied of this. We hope an explanation from the authorities, but this is the correct situation. What will happen to other sectors in relation to judgments is, again, a subjective approach. Subjective approach should be on all spheres of life. Tax, consumables, health. Why not having, like in United Kingdom, doctors attached to families? We said, let's start prevention system. We will start a prevention system, yes. But that family need to have a family doctor. We cannot continue with that system of letting our doctors having enjoyed primary education, secondary education, tertiary education, and they are performing well in several good countries where economics is being very profitable for them, but we lose it here. And then people are dying without knowing what they have. Suddenly you will hear someone passed away. He was in a party yesterday. This morning he is dead. Why? Because he had a problem which has never been followed. Let's not wait for people to come to hospital. We have enough doctors. We can have enough doctors for sending them back home to detect and prevent problems. It's all agriculture. We talk health, we talk farming also, same situation. Fishing industry, same situation. We are paying our fishermen to stay inside because they can't go outside to fish, bad weather condition or other condition that prevent them from going. But why not making all those fishermen become government servant? Why not having 15 to 20 big industrial fishing boats on the shores? Let them be a civil servant, a fisherman recognized civil servant with all their pensionables. Go and fish. It's simple. You fish, you packet it, and you send it to the supermarkets. If we are lacking of fishermen, why not taking our prisoners who are serving penal servitude for more than 4 years? Okay, sir, you have been given 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. We're not going to nourish you here. We want you to be an entrepreneur as well. Be on the boat, fish. Fish for 3 years, and then come back. It's applicable to farming, it's applicable to agriculture. What I invite the government to do is in all big ministries, be the leader, engineer ideas, put forward ideas, have a 51% stock holding, and then invite the public to come and participate in terms of actions. So if someone wants to do agriculture, but unfortunately he has no support For 6 months, he has to run everywhere to get the necessary permit. Permit is being processed. This is the disease of this country. Processing permits and taking decision. In previous budgets, they have put a deadline. If you apply and you don't get at a certain point in time working days, assume you've got it. This is to kill the germs of bureaucracy. But here we have government have to take the lead, Minister of Agriculture, take the lead in terms of agriculture and create company and ask the public to come and invest in it and they get their dividends. This is what we are going to do. We cannot continue importing carrots. They laugh at us. We cannot continue to import salad leche. They laugh at us. So I believe there is a lack of confidence in the public. Not so many people will be entrepreneur, want to be entrepreneur because they know the lackings of bureaucracy. Government take the lead. We are going to make a national agricultural sector in terms of planting, in terms of farming, in terms of fishing industry. We will be holding 51%. We got the best managers and we ask the public to invest and push it. And we have a vast market in terms of all the old African countries. We contribute. Even water. Taking water of the sea and do the process as all big countries are doing. When I talk about this to our technical engineers, their only problem is it costs a lot of money. But invest, produce, and export. Africa is around the area. Madagascar is here. Australia is here. How can Singapore, Dubai, and all these big countries have the guts to do it, and we don't want to do it? It's not so that we cannot do it. We do not want to do it. This is the problem. We do not want. There are some people who are here. They are happy to remain where they are. They are safe there. We are in public service. We are in private sector. We are getting our money at the end of the day. We are paying our bills, a small profit. This is enough for us. No, we have the capacity to go. As I'm saying, we are planning 10 times our capacity, and all sectors can do it 10 times their capacity within the next 5 years.
So, Met, looking ahead, what changes would you like to see in the Mauritian legal and regulatory system over the next decade?
Well, we are very hopeful about having our Court of Appeal. We'll have to separate that jurisdiction from the main jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. I understand that our current Attorney General has already worked on it. There have been sessions with our Singaporean counterpart for the setting up of a Court of Appeal. We'll have to apply the Mackay report and readjust it, apply it. We will have to work on the pace in relation to Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Unfortunately, this cannot be done because lack of funding, but I do believe now, lack of funding or not lack of funding, this is very serious. We'll have to have the involvement of the National Human Rights Commission at all levels because, as we have seen very recently, how dangerous it is, conduct of certain police officers and conduct of certain authorities. I can say that there have been changes in relation to the powers of arrest, detention, remaining in custody, and granting bail. And this is ongoing at the moment. Changes is ongoing. The law has already been voted last month, and happy to see that the Office of the DPP and the AGO and the Commissioner of Police are working together. Now, most of the changes depend upon capacity to administer. Unfortunately, I would say that lack of resources in the judicial system. So many of our district courts lack resources in terms of human power. We have a backlog of cases. No one to be blamed for that. This is the situation. I am very sad in the way qualified people are being treated at the judiciary. I would say the judiciary have to be recognized. If I was a decision maker, I would not have let the judiciary into the mainstream of Pay Research Bureau, PRB. I would have let the judiciary into the mainstream of the Court of Appeal. I would have let the judiciary into the mainstream of the Supreme Court. I would have let the judiciary into the mainstream of the Court of Appeal. I think they need to have an independent scheme for themselves, because it is not proper for magistrates and other qualified staff of the judiciary to be underpaid. And this is the situation at the moment. And I'm sure that the Attorney General and the Prime Minister's Office and Minister of Finance will look into it in the coming month, if not years, but I prefer month. We'll have to have proper code structures, because we cannot take a building which has been serving the Sugar Industry Labour Welfare Fund to be a district court. We cannot take the house of someone, convert it, ask it to be a district court. We cannot take a mall and make all the shops of the mall become district courts. District court number 1, court number 2, it was formerly shops. Now, no. I think we will have to have des palais de justice for each division. We have 9 districts, and we have Upper Plaine-Williams, Lower Plaine-Williams, Pori North, 3 division. We have nearly 15 district court, I would say, all together. 9, 10, 11, 12, yes, 12, 15. We'll have to have the Palais de Justice. Hopefully, we have the funding from India in relation to the new Supreme Court, but I do believe if we are to build another Supreme Court or a new Court of Appeal, we'll have to get the best engineers and the best quality product, because I don't want to be trapped in lifts before going to court and you don't know where we are. Some prisoners have been went missing in court, and when we check where they are, they left the prison, they were on road, they enter the Supreme Court, but unfortunately they are trapped in lifts. And this cannot continue. We'll have to be serious about infrastructure. We'll have to be serious about our procurement for judiciary. There are lots of rooms for improvement. Everybody are excited for improvement. And I do believe we have the capacity in the judiciary to move forward, but it's going to be public proposal. It's going to be let our magistrate, let our staff, let our judges talk. And I think we'll have to set up committees where we listen to people. It cannot be someone coming and I am the one who knows all, I'm the one who decides all, I would decide it like this, because their intelligence gathering is very limited. They don't know what's going on. We'll have to have a judiciary which will care. If you work in District Court of the North, it's a different culture because different civilization. If you work in Black River, it's a different civilization. If you work in Flac, different. If you work in Grand Port, Maibou, another different. You can ask our magistrate, they will tell you, oh, you know, people here are so good, or people here, they understand, or people here don't need many explanation. It's about a culture, it's about evolving, it's about growing up, it's about contribution of our government schools, our secondary schools that bring up people with different civilization. That's why you see, you've been setting up in an area, you live so happily. When your wife asks you or your husband asks you to move ahead, you got another neighbor. Then that on the first day you saw that neighbor, this is going to be a pain. Am I going to stay here for long? No, there will be problems. So it's about cultures. So we'll have to be adaptable to that. We cannot change people. We have to be adaptable to them. And I do believe that the police, as I said earlier, the collaboration of the Commissioner of Police, the collaboration of the ODPP, Director of Public Prosecution, and AGO, we are so happy they are on the same wavelength. And I do believe with the benediction of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, changes ahead in the judiciary is very hopeful. And I hope before the next general election, I will not see anyone in judiciary complaining about status, about salary, or about resources, because without those police, judiciary, executive controlling the judiciary, if there's no harmony, we are bound to collapse. But we are very hopeful. We have people with good capacity, good understanding, and a big reform, I believe, is coming soon in the judicial system.
Thank you, Matt, for this insightful exchange. It was an immense pleasure to have you on the
Pleasure for me as
platforms
well.
of
Thank
Business
you.
Chronicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Business Chronicles. Let's dive into the important filing deadlines for this month. Mark your calendars for Monday, 2nd June 2025. Electronic submission of annual return and payment of tax by companies with accounting year ending in November 2024. Electronic submission of joint PAYE and social contribution CSG NSF return and payment of tax withheld for April 2025. Electronic submission of PRGF return and payment of PRGF contributions for April 2025. Electronic submission of VAT return for April 2025 and payment of tax. Electronic submission of monthly return of TDS and payment of tax deducted for May 2025. That concludes our roundup of essential tax deadlines for the month. Thank you for tuning in to Business Chronicles, your trusted guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of taxation. Until next time, stay informed, stay organized, and most importantly, stay compliant.
That's all for today's episode. See you in the next one.